So the first person that said they would like to share with us tonight is Eric Lundberg. And Eric, if we can have you state your name again, as well as your district, and Commissioner O'Leary, if I could call you into service once again.
I should have been on that.
Slipping.
I know.
Oh, I need the microphone?
Oh, yeah.
You'll have 3 minutes.
I'm a Pentecostal preacher. You don't want to give me one of these. Anyway, like I said, my name is Eric Lundberg. I'm from District 2. And I just want to say thank you to every single one of you for being here and giving up your time to our county. It is greatly appreciated. I just did want to make a couple comments on a few of these amendments here. My main concern about them is the trickle-down effect that I'm seeing from the state level, especially the first one that has to do, C1, that has to do with the sheriff and maintaining that as an elected position. And I think we got to remove our preference and our opinion about the sheriff out of this and look at it this as the fact that we want to make sure that we, the people, still have the right to vote and elect our own sheriff. This is such a key position. And I don't want our preference or offense to have effect on us and then on future generations. This is so important because the sheriff does maintain law and order. We want to protect that. The next amendment I want to speak to is C10. This has to do with the 2/3 majority vote. And I think when it comes to my taxes and my wallet, I want to have the most voices speaking into it. I want to have the most brains that are looking at this thing to make sure that it is a really good tax to put on. I mean, nobody likes taxes, but it's a part of life. I want to make sure that we just have the most perspectives on this before we raise it. And I think that just having a majority, that kind of opens up the door for backroom deals and persuasions and things such as that. So we want to make sure that we maintain integrity when it comes to voting on other people's money, so to speak. The next one I want to speak to is C2. And this has to do with speaking into whether we're going to, as a county, work with immigration enforcement and those type of things. And what's concerning to me is I see the battle that the state has with the federal and how much money that's costing. It costs a lot of money to go up against the federal government, and there's lawsuits, and everybody has to, and the state has to sue continually, and I think that's just a mismanagement of tax dollars. And I'm not sure if at the county level we want to do that. We want to get involved in this fight with the federal government in so many ways. We're just a county. And then I think to finally close it off, I said before, just the kind of trickle down of the state, and like the gentleman said before, we always bring our partisan politics to it. But I think we need to look at these as best we can without our partisan politics. Thanks.
Thank you.
Just leave it on the table.
Okay.
Zach Kitterman.
Thank you. My name is Zachary Kinnaman, and proud resident of Pierce County for the last 53 years. I'm originally from New York. Don't hold it against me, please.
Do you mind sharing what part of Pierce County you're from?
Lakewood. I believe that's District 4. And I'd like to thank you for having a public meeting here today. It's my first time in front of the charter. I come here to I went to an indivisible meeting, and there was some talk of something that's very near and dear to my heart, which is the office of a proposed sheriff's ombuds. I happen to work for the state of Washington. I am the community relations person for the Office of the Corrections Ombuds. And I was just telling members of the council here that in 2016, I became very involved in the formation of that operation. It took a long, fairly difficult path to have an operation where the Ombuds was created. It was instantly in business with a hotline, and we have a very small staff, and we take 14 people take care of 14,000. who are imprisoned within the state of Washington's correctional system. And what I would only suggest is be very careful with the formation of an ombuds office. It is not a cure-all for whatever ails the sheriff's office. I understand that there's unpopularity, but that's why we have a vote. And one of the things that's been raised here tonight, and I wasn't aware of it, was please continue to allow the people to speak when it comes to public officials as important as a sheriff. The first words of our Constitution are, "We the people." It is something that has been forgotten too much in our society in this current age. There are no quick solutions for law enforcement. King County, which I hate to always refer to, because Pierce County, you get a little tired of hearing nothing but Seattle and Pierce and King County, has an ombuds office for its sheriff and for its jails. And it has been in business for over 20 years. One of the things they don't have that we do is confidentiality with the people that they work with. They don't sunset. There was a sunset in a proposal that I saw earlier this week for a Pierce County ombuds. We're facing that as our office at the state. We don't need to go through another 2 years of wondering if we're going to have a staff, an office, and an ability to help people who need it. So thank you very much. And if there is anything I can do in my private capacity as a citizen, I'd be more than happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have John Leslie.
Thank you. My name is John Leslie. I'm a lifetime resident of Pierce County. I'm in District 5. And so for the third meeting now, I would like to address the lack of transparency that we have with these meetings. Now, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone or inciting intent, and Vice Chair Lance has informed me that there has been some progress made on this, but I haven't seen it yet. There are 3 things lacking here that a person walking through the door wouldn't be able to discern. One is the process. Now, that was addressed right away. There's a link on the website for that. The second one is the amendments. I would challenge any person in here to line up all the amendments that have been filed. You can't find them. They're scattered across all of the packets. I'm just a dumb bricklayer, but I solved this in 1 day. I now have all of the amendments listed on a website with a hyperlink to each one that goes to its own individual page. And addressing Commissioner O'Leary's question about how many comments were made on it, you'll find that on that page, I drew all of the submitted comments on it and attached them to each page. So C1 has 74 against, and I think 6 for, but you'd have to check on my page to verify that, but it's there. And a dumb bricklayer did that in 1 day. The third thing is the progression. Where are these at in the progression? Now, I see on tonight that there are some on the schedule, and if I have time, I want to speak to one of those. But how would you know? Where are these at? Is this about to go? You know, do I need to get down there and speak to this because it's just about to go over the edge? We don't know. And it's only been thanks to Vice Chair Lance, it's given me those spreadsheets that I even know, but nobody else does. And I've heard this brought up. I heard LJ bring this up in one of the previous meetings, and it's still not addressed. So in the few seconds I have left, this has already been addressed a bit, but C10 is on the agenda tonight. And after hearing Amy speak against it and hearing Marty Campbell speak against it, I don't think there's a whole lot left I got to say. The only reason to have that is to increase taxation. That's going to result in runaway taxes. It's already been demonstrated that the supermajority can be overcome quite easily. We just added 2 more sales taxes in recent times. So this is a very unnecessary amendment. So I oppose it, and I hope that all of you will too. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Carol Sue Brayton.
Carol Sue Brayton,
Oh, thank you.
5th District. I too agree with what he just said. I tried to see last week's meeting. I couldn't find it. It showed up on the 16th as being actually the one I was here on the 9th. So there's a number of different things that need to be mitigated through there and corrected. Number one, I'm with the supermajority on taxes, and even with what's been said, it needs to be that way because of the fact that people need the right to have their taxes changed by a supermajority, which is the 2/3. Also, the constitutional recall. It's in the state constitution for a 2/3 recall, and they're trying to change that for the sheriff and that. Again, that's already in our state constitution. So we need to adhere to and abide by our state constitution, not try to change something that's already there. I'm looking at the fact of the citizen versus resident. We again need to establish that a citizen is here and the citizenship and a number of other things. I'm looking at what our assessor treasurer talked about, critical areas, and talked about agriculture. Well, I mentioned it last time. I will say this. I live in a tsunami area, Lahar, etc. It's supposed to be not built in. You go take a look at Fife, please. It's all violates state law, but it isn't on the assessor's website. Years ago, it used to be. Mine actually says the property does 40 some years ago says that it is in a floodplain. Nobody else's now does if you buy a property. Not only that, a Lahar volcanic mudflow, you have no insurance will cover it. I'm in 2 dam break areas. I'm in a tsunami area. I want you to know that people have a right to know that, and the critical areas needs to be assessed in the assessor treasures. And I'm looking for that the sheriff needs to be a voted in position, not an appointed. But there's another reason. We need the separation of those branches for the very reason that the county assessor treasurer needs to be a separate. Those people need to be separate individuals that we will hold accountable, and we can go get the recalls. And by the way, it's real simple. You can go to the library, and guess what? 50 pages you get free at the at Pierce County Library, 20 at Tacoma, and you have enough for a recall page of as many people as you want, and you just go in the next week and get the things. So anybody who wants to recall, it's real simple. You just got a door knock, or you have to have enough people to come to your little stand and sign that. Thank you.
Next is Jeff Winter.
Jeff Winter, District 5. Grateful to be one of the people that's seen in Article 1 of our state constitution. Madam Chair, members of the commission, last week I stated that our founding fathers established a constitutional republic, not a democracy. This truth obviously ruffled the feathers of some, but it is the fact. Perhaps if I had said we're a democratic constitutional republic, then possibly they might have heard the remainder of the truth, and that those who choose to serve in government are bound to the words written in the Constitution, which they are sworn to uphold. It is our declared rights that are in every constitution within the United States of America that have made this nation the greatest on earth. As I've stated before, we have not been taught the truth about these rights and how they are guaranteed to be kept separate from our government. However, the reality we face is that it has been decades since we have followed what is written in our Constitution. We've become a people so steeped in tradition that when confronted with the truth that is written in our Constitution, many do not see it and some refuse to accept it. Due to a lack of teaching, we have slipped from the ways of a constitutional republic to believing the lie that we are a democracy, and now we see our state government acting with the mindset of an authoritarian government. In case you missed it, they just passed an income tax bill that even though 91% of the people polled were against it, our state government has been in control of the Democratic Party for some time, and now they aren't even listening to their own constituents. With the political divide in our state and in our country, I was a little optimistic that by teaching the truth about our rights and how they're declared, about our declared rights, and and they're not granted in Article 1 of our state constitution, that we would come together on common ground, but I'm starting to have my doubts. Nevertheless, I will persevere. Last week, I also stated that those who choose to serve in government are servants and trustees, not leaders like we've been taught. This is a stumbling block for some, especially those who chose to partake in government with the idea of being a leader. I have been coming to these meetings long enough to see examples of both. Those who desire to be served and a few that seem to have an agenda. Last week, it was interesting to witness the exchange at the commissioners' meeting as they're debating C1, and I would like to commend one commissioner as an example of a servant. When Commissioner Leary spoke, he commented on how he had worn out a pair of shoes by knocking on over 1,200 doors, and he stated how he had gained a lot of knowledge simply by listening to the people. He then let the other commissioners know that he was careful to ask questions and not make statements. He also made some very interesting points that I was able to learn from. What I saw in Commissioner O'Leary was an elected official with the heart of a servant, to which his district should be grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Ian Armstrong?
Ian Armstrong, and I guess I'm District 7. So I want to just quick touch on expanding the council. I think Commissioner O'Leary made a very important point last week that we don't have the financing set up for that in this, and there's no good way to do it in the way that it's written. So that's got to be a no. We can't expand the council before we set a path for paying for it. That's just silly, in my opinion. But back to the sheriffs. Once again, on the federal level, we have heard whispers again of nuking the filibuster. Well, this particular topic seems like we're trying to nuke the filibuster. It's crazy. One side, for once in a very long time, has seen something not go their way. And so rather than just get out there and talk to people and try to set up what they want for the future, they have tried to nuke the filibuster. And now they're going to just turn around and make it so that they get their way even when they don't get their way. And to me, that seems silly. We can't just come in and, well, I didn't get my way this time, so I'm going to throw a fit. And it feels like throwing a fit. It feels like going in there and making this change because we didn't get our way. And that just seems silly to me. And I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse, but we can't take away our right to vote for the sheriff, regardless of who he is. Think about it. What happens when the person picking the sheriff is somebody we don't like? Are we then going to turn around and try to vote it back to being voted for? I mean, we can go back and forth every 10 years, or we can just leave it the way that really the Constitution of the United States was built to have it. I get it that the county sheriff is small fries when it comes to the Constitution, but ultimately it comes down to the Constitution. So I'm going to say let's not do that, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Vince Navari? I'm really sorry if I said your last name wrong.
Good enough. My name is Vince Navar. It's easy. It's easier. So less is Sullivan. I'm in District 4, live in Fircrest. And I'm going to share about ensuring fair and nonpartisan charter decisions based on the election and appointment specifically, but for decisions in general. The Charter Review Commission carries a vital duty. First of all, thank you for your service, and I didn't address you properly. And then I wanted to say something. We have an American flag back there, and I would like to see a Pledge of Allegiance or something like that before the meetings. Or why do we have a flag back there anyway? So anyway, aside from that, you guys have a very vital duty and should act with fairness, balance, and nonpartisanship. Decisions about the county sheriff or any elected appointment should be focused on the structure of government and not reactions to the current office holder or a personal opinion. Structural changes must not be driven by controversy, social media narratives, select media coverage. The focus is on long-term governance, public accountability, and institutional integrity, not personal opinions. I attended a listening session and I heard a lot of personal opinions from commissioners. This is what inspired me to share this way. Fair evaluation. Any assessment of a current official must prioritize verified performance, measurable outcomes, and leadership effectiveness. Public perception and social media commentary can inform, but it cannot dictate decisions. Ignoring accomplishments while highlighting criticisms undermines fairness. The simple test for impartiality: would proposals be made if the current office holder was quote unquote respected and controversial free? If not, the commission risks political motives to override its objectives. So it shouldn't be a policy change if everything was cool in your eyes. But because it is a policy change because you don't like the person or you've heard negative things in the media about them, is not right. This is a nonpartisan position and should be fair and impartial. The commission must uphold public trust by making decisions grounded in evidence, principles, and long-term public interest. Structural reform is legitimate only when it transcends personalities, controversies, and transient public opinion.
Thank you so much.
This is the essence of nonpartisan government. Thank you. I asked for 3 minutes and then I ran over a little bit. Thank you.
No, it's easy to do. We appreciate you sharing. Don Land.
Hi, my name is Dawn Land and I reside in District 2. I'm here today to ask the Charter Review Committee to keep the position of Pierce County Sheriff as an elected position. If changed to an appointed position, the Pierce County Sheriff would become a biased position. Instead of focusing on protecting the citizens of Pierce County, the sheriff would become a useless figurehead whose only purpose is to promote intersectionality through diversity, equity, and inclusion. The sheriff would be there as the sidekick of the Pierce County executive, rather than someone elected to protect all citizens of Pierce County. The sex-based rights of women are being eroded all over Pierce County. Adult human females are harassed, threatened, and outright attacked by men in dresses, and it's not okay. There are boys calling themselves girls and taking over girls' sports. Girls are being hurt by these boys. There was even a boy on the girls' wrestling team at Emerald Ridge who assaulted a girl from Rogers during a girls' wrestling match. There are men who claim to be women housed with women in the women's prison. Incarcerated females are locked in cells with these men, subjected to constant sexual harassment and sexual assaults. See, when government positions are appointed, like they are in the Department of Corrections, the misogyny of Washington State asserts itself. In this instance, it manifests as the state-sanctioned rape of incarcerated females. Women like me who speak truths, such as trans women are men and girls deserve fair sports, are already harassed, threatened, and attacked. Many women are afraid, but our sheriff is elected to protect all of us. To make the sheriff an appointed position is to endanger biological women. Rather than changing how the office of Pierce County Sheriff is decided, the Charter Review Committee should add to the charter important things, such as keeping boys out of girls' sports, and keeping access to everything from sports to locker rooms to spas to prisons based on sex rather than an individual's fictional gender identity. Our foremothers fought hard for women's right to vote. Women don't deserve to have these rights stripped from us and be forced to endure the rabid misogyny that is sure to follow if the sheriff is made an appointed position. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken Polson?
Well, speaking last, Ken Paulson, District 4, speaking last, you get to hear all the other people that were like, wow. So let me get over a couple of things. 18 years ago, I figured out when I was sitting down there, I'm walking into the ex-Fred Meyer, and there's a guy there. Hey, you vote? I want to sign you up to vote. And I said, I'm an illegal alien. Right here, sign right here, fill this out. Proof of citizenship should be required. There's an article somewhere out there that there's 50 people somewhere in the country that are registered to vote, and they live in this empty lot. I don't know what city or state it was in, but it's actually really crazy. In referencing this previous speaker, the DSM, this is a medical, some sort of book. Gender dysphoria is a mental illness, and that's the current edition of that book. I talked to a medical person, they told me that, and then I looked it up. But my real question is all the people that say this man's a girl, are they mentally ill too? So there's a question to answer. Our assessor made a great presentation for electing the sheriff. Making the sheriff appointed is a power grab. Pierce County Council had that on their agenda 2 years ago, maybe it was 3 years ago. I happened to be there that day. And it says, hey, what if the Portland mayor becomes executive and the Portland police chief becomes our sheriff? We're going to be Portland Pierce County. Portland's a drive-by city. You don't want to be there. Your car will be stolen. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional public comment in the room tonight? Yes. If you can share your name and your district, please.
I think there's a couple other names.
Okay, great. Commissioner O'Leary, put me back into action. I'm gonna get you a
Give
key,
you a
I
second
think.
paycheck.
Laura Lee from District 6. Please, I beg my fellow citizens, before you come up here, use Google to look up, is a constitutional republic a democracy? And please, just stop it. I'm tired of hearing it as a veteran. We elect our representatives. It's a representative democracy. Get over it. HB 2015 gives the counties the right to change sheriffs from appointed to elected. They don't change them themselves. C1 is for them to put it on the ballot for us to decide. They are not making the decision. So you can come up here and say no as many times as you want, but all you're doing is telling them to cut off our right to vote. And I'm not going to put up with that as a veteran. They have a right to put it on the ballot so we can decide. Last time this was decided, my daughter was 9. She's 28 now. It's a new generation. She wants to frickin' vote. So get over it. I'm for an office of the ombudsman for accountability for sheriff. because the current sheriff has 9 cases against him, legal cases that are going to cost taxpayers millions, and it's not going to come out of his pocket. This constant and continual violation is going to be costing us the taxpayer. Also, I was wondering if the charter review can possibly do something about the budget for the guardian ad litems in the family court and the disability court, because we need more of them. We just need more of them. Because once you're assigned one for either disability, some disabled veteran, or family court, you can't get away from them, especially if they have some problems themselves. So thank you.
Thank you. I see no other folks that have signed up on the sheets for tonight. And any in the room raising their hands? Seeing none, we'll go online. So I'll let Jared give his speech.
Yes, of course. For any members of the public who wish to provide comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. And at this time, it looks like there's 2 hands. First hand is Kurt. Please state your name for the record as well as your district, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. My name is Kurt Wall. I'm a resident of District 4 and have been a Pierce County resident since 1988. And I'd like to make a comment in support of maintaining the elected sheriff. We hear a lot about protecting democracy, even though we're a republic, but to protect democracy, the best way to do that is for citizens to vote and express their opinion. Otherwise, we risk having the sheriff's office be a popularity contest with politicians, not the people. So I would encourage that. And I believe under the RCWs and the Washington Constitution, a sheriff must be elected. So the entire concept of an appointed sheriff seems to be unconstitutional. I'm not an attorney, but it is very bothersome to me. And sometimes our sheriff is not popular because he's made it very clear he will support and defend the Constitution to which he swore an oath to uphold. And people are mad when he does that. He has exercised good judgment, in my opinion. Again, it's not a personality contest like, as Mr. Navarre wisely pointed out, this should be outside of personalities. But he's done a magnificent job, and in his publicly stated positions about supporting the Constitution, it's made him unpopular with certain parties. I would say that the Constitution, wisely designed by our founders, was a protection against government overreach or tyranny. So there are some people that view it as an impediment to their plans. Many people view it as protection from men, because throughout human history we know men cannot, and I use that term generically, men cannot be trusted with power. I'd like to say that George Washington said government is not reason, it is not eloquence, it is force. And like fire, it's a troublesome servant and a fearful master. Never for a moment should it be left to irresponsible actions. So the entire Bill of Rights was designed to protect us from government. It's a limitation on government, not on the people. And I believe we should maintain that protection. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then next we have Teresa. Please state your name for the record and your district, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, I'm Teresa Evans, and I'm in District 5. And my comments, I'm not ready to talk about your amendments or proposed amendments yet, but I want to talk about how it's kind of difficult to for people within our community to be the person like me calling up or calling up on the phone or whatnot. And it generally has to do with work or even knowing about it or being distracted by something. But I am grateful, so I wanted to say that because I actually realized that I took a shift today and maybe I would not be able to comment, but I was able to because you guys, and then even got to watch our social treasurer and part of his speech when I figured it out. So to log on. So it's sort of working out, but that doesn't mean it's working out for other people. And I want many people to be able to speak and not just a few select. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for the comments and time.
And there are no other hands.
Thank you, and thank you very much for managing our online votes again. All right, so next item on our agenda, because that concludes public comment, is reports and updates. So my update is brief. It's for commissioners. Oh, Commissioner.
Madam Chair, I just had a very quick comment.
Yes.
I will be very quick. I just want to say that I'm sorry that those in attendance had to hear some of the comments tonight. Commissioners and staff, we are constitutionally restricted from regulating speech based on viewpoint, which means we cannot ban hate speech or offensive comments to any person or groups of people because of First Amendment free expression protections. I personally fully condemn some of this speech and insensitive comments in a public forum. I believe discriminatory or hateful actions or words against any person have no place in our community. That's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Hunter?
Thank you for those words.